A man being held on suspicion of killing 3 people at a park in Reading last night has been identified as a 25-year-old originally from Libya. Khairi Saadallah had come to the attention of MI5 last year but was not considered to be an immediate risk. The fatal stabbing is being treated by police as a terror incident, and tonight one of the victims was named as a 36-year-old teacher, James Furlong. His family described him as a wonderful, beautiful and intelligent man. It was in Forbury Gardens in Reading town centre that the attack began around 7 o'clock last night. The suspect was arrested there shortly afterwards. Later, armed police carried out a raid at a block of flats in another part of the town. Our Home Affairs correspondent Daniel Sandford joins us now live from Reading. Daniel.
Yes, Michelle, it was a summer evening in this park right in the middle of Reading town centre when suddenly and savagely a knife man started attacking people sitting on the grass. And in the very first group he attacked, 3 good friends died, one of whom was a much-loved history teacher. The moment when specialist firearms officers raided a flat in Reading last night. Whoa! Just over a mile from where 3 people were stabbed to death in the worst police-designated terrorist attack in Britain for 3 years. It was the home of Khairi Saadallah, a Libyan asylum seeker with possible mental health problems, who briefly came to the attention of MI5 last year, but was not considered a genuine risk or immediate threat. He's suspected of attacking groups of complete strangers enjoying a summer evening in Forbury Gardens, right in the town centre, at around 7 o'clock yesterday evening. A group of men was targeted first.
He darted round anti-clockwise the circle, got one, went to another, stabbed the next one, went to another, stabbed the next one. I still thought it was a scuffle, but I was watching because I didn't want to get involved in anything. I was just watching, and then he stood up and I saw a massive knife in his hand, probably at least 5 inches minimum, and then he turned and started looking towards us. And that's when I just started shouting, "Run!" And I heard a lot of screams in the park. A lot of people realised and started running away.
One of those killed was 36-year-old James Furlong. His parents said tonight he was a wonderful man who will live in their hearts forever. He was head of history at the Holt School in Wokingham, which wrote in a letter to parents that James was a very kind and gentle man. He had a real sense of duty and cared for each and every one of our students. Words cannot describe our sadness at this time.
I'm appalled and sickened that people should lose their lives in this way. If there are lessons that we need to learn about how we handle such cases, how we handle the events leading up to such cases, then we will learn those lessons.
This morning, as a huge investigation got underway, police formally declared it as a terrorist attack, though detectives think their suspect was acting alone.
From our inquiries undertaken so far, officers have found nothing to suggest that there was anyone else involved in this attack. And presently, we are not looking for anyone else in relation to the incident.
Neighbours here at the block of flats where Khairi Saadallah lived have told us that he had caused problems in the past. He once threw a TV out of the top floor window, and he was regularly visited by a mental health key worker. Kieran Vernon told me that the man he knew showed no signs of extremism or violence and had rather been someone to smoke cannabis with.
He seemed like me or you. I mean, whenever we used to meet up, we used to talk about drinking whiskey and how different ganja affects the different thinking of mind. Like some makes you sleepy, some makes you happy, some makes you grumpy and stuff like that. And that's pretty much all we'd chat about. That is pretty much it. And sometimes the odd women or two, walk by and it's just a normal, genuine guy.
As the bodies were taken for post-mortem examinations, their families remembered 3 much-loved men. And as darkness fell, the police continued the meticulous counter-terrorism investigation into the savage attack in which the 3 friends died. Daniel Sandford, BBC News, Reading.
And our home editor, Mark Easton, is with me now in the studio. Just what should have been an ordinary, peaceful night, changing in an instant, Mark.
Absolutely. Thinking about the awful events in that park on yesterday evening, The question, of course, is why, and that will have been in the police's minds as soon as they were alerted to the attack. What was going through this man's head? Because in designating it a terrorist crime, they are convinced that there is evidence that he was pursuing a racial, religious, political or ideological cause of some kind. And you may remember there was actually some delay before they actually said, yes, it is a terrorist incident. And I think that may, in fact, be because it is quite difficult to work out what the motivation was at that time. The arrested man, as we know, it's understood to have mental health difficulties. He's not apparently isolated incident. Police have said there's no one else they're looking for. There's no intelligence to suggest it's part of a wider terrorist campaign. But, you know, whether this was or wasn't technically a terrorist incident will be of no comfort to those who are grieving tonight, those who are struggling to deal with the psychological or physical effects of this crime. Attacks like this are mercifully rare, but somehow this apparently random and unprovoked attack, just as people were emerging after months of lockdown into the Saturday evening sunshine, it's just so horrible.
Mark Easton, thank you.